It's Mr. Pants! That's the name of the game I'm reviewing. Not Mr. Pants, but it's Mr. Pants. Though it feels a bit weird to say the full title in a sentence. Like for example, I could say, It's Mr. Pants is a puzzle game for the Game Boy Advance. Doesn't sound right, does it? Now if I say, Mr. Pants is a puzzle game for the Game Boy Advance, that sounds a bit better, wouldn't you say? So anyways, Mr. Pants is a puzzle game for the Game Boy Advance. Now who in their right mind would create such an oddity as this? Rare, of course. Rare you may know as the company responsible for creating titles such as the Donkey Kong Country trilogy, Banjo-Kazooie, Perfect Dark, and Conker's Bad Fur Day. And I'm sure by now this is considered common gaming knowledge, but the early 2000s were interesting times for this company. They were bought by Microsoft in 2002, and while most of their future titles would be released exclusively on Xbox consoles, there were a few of them developed alongside THQ for the Game Boy Advance. One of those games was originally intended to be a Donkey Kong puzzle game known as Donkey Kong Coconut Crackers. But because Donkey Kong ultimately belonged to Nintendo, which meant that Rare had to cut ties with the big monkey when Microsoft bought them, the game was changed to star this guy, Mr. Pants. Now, Mr. Pants was originally created to be a mascot for Rare's website, but he did make a few cameo appearances in previous Rare titles, such as Jet Force Gemini and Banjo-Tooie. Okay, before I go any further, I just gotta address this design. First of all, why does this guy look like a character from that Adult Swim show 12 Ounce Mouse? Second of all, what? Is that what I think it is? Okay, I think I'm going a little too deep with this. Let's just jump into the game.
It's Mr. Pants! Hello, everybody!
So booting up the game, you'll notice right away that Mr. Pants is a very vocal British guy.
Make your mind up! Easy! Medium!
Seriously, get used to his voice because that's 80% of the sound effects in this game. The rest of them are animal sounds.
Great!
So if one of your biggest video game pet peeves is obnoxious sound effects, then Mr. Pants isn't for you. So the objective of this game is to use these puzzle pieces to form complete rectangles and clear them off the board. And the minimum size of the rectangles has to be at least 2x3 or 3x2. There's 3 different game modes you could do. There's Wipeout, where you must clear the entire board on a 2-minute time limit and all the pieces you're given are random. There's Marathon, in which you have to survive long enough by clearing rectangles to keep this purple line from overtaking the screen. By the way, this mode is so addicting. And then there's the main mode, the puzzle mode, where you are given a set amount of pieces that you must strategically place in the right spots to clear the board. Each difficulty has a set amount of puzzles for you to complete, and let me tell you, there's a lot. When you start each level, you'll see pieces scattered about the board, sometimes arranged in a unique pattern to form an object such as a train, a hogshead, and even a disco dancer. You know, in a way this kinda reminds me of the Mario Picross games, except in that game the goal is to chisel blocks to reveal the design. In this game, they're already set up for you to reduce it to nothing with Tetris-like pieces. Also, both games get pretty frustrating when it comes to figuring things out. Though out of the 2 games, I find Mr. Pants a bit easier. Just a bit, though. Like in some levels, it can be quite obvious where each piece goes, but in most other cases, good freaking luck because you'll be failing quite a bit. And Mr. Pants is always keeping tabs on how many times you have attempted the puzzle. Thankfully, after 3 or so failed attempts, you can get optional help from this little light bulb guy named Helpo. All you have to do is press select and he's activated. Then, if you place a piece in the wrong spot, he'll step in to show you where it goes. And no, he's not so quick about it. He's helpful, yes, but there are a few gripes I have. 1, as I mentioned, he's slow as hell. 2, he only helps with 1 piece per attempt, meaning you may be stumped on the next piece and have to fail again to see where that one goes. And 3, he will make you put down the pieces in the order he wants you to. For example, in this level, you have these 4 spots that you can place 4 red squares in. The order you choose to place them does not affect your chances to solve it. It really doesn't matter. But if you decide to let this little bastard assist you... How the hell is that wrong? Why does that matter? Look look at that! He wants me to put the first red square in this particular spot. For what reason, I have no clue. Now watch what happens when I don't place the squares in the order he shows you. See? It didn't matter! I still solved it! I don't need Helpo's help, I'll just use a walkthrough, damn it. Anyways, for every 5 puzzles you complete, you reveal a unique painting that is used as the background for the next 5. Now, how many puzzles are in this game exactly? Well, there's 25 in easy mode, 50 levels in medium, 75 in hard, and 100 in special. Which means there are... Let me calculate this carefully because last time I calculated something in a review, I was a bit off. There were 74 monster trucks, not 64. Anywho, let's see here. 25 plus 50 is 75, 75 plus 75 is 150, and 150 plus 100 is 250. 250 different puzzles to solve in Mr. Pants. Now I hope you all weren't expecting me to have completed every single one of these levels before doing this review, because I didn't. I just played enough to get a sense of what the game entailed. So if you want to check out this game for yourself and beat all 250 levels, by all means, knock yourself out. Overall, Mr. Pants is a pretty good puzzle game. The gameplay is unique, the music is quirky and fits the vibe, and the presentation has that charm that you'd only find in rare games. I definitely recommend giving this one a look if puzzle games are your thing, though I will say there are much better ones out there such as Tetris, Puyo Pop, and Pokemon Puzzle League. But Mr. Pants is a pretty solid title as well. But damn is it hard! Now, before I end things, I wanted to touch upon another bit of information. About a year or so after the game released on GBA, there was a version of Mr. Pants released for mobile phones. And no, I'm not talking about iOS or Android or anything involving a touchscreen. I'm talking old-ass cell phones with the number pads, like Nokia's. And that's likely the reason why I can't find any footage of the mobile version. It's fine, it was probably the same thing anyway. Probably in a worse quality. In addition to the GBA and mobile versions of Mr. Pants, there was originally going to be another release of the game for a console known as the Gizmondo. Now what the heck is that, you may be asking? To put it simply, the Gizmondo was a handheld console that came and went pretty fast. And I'm talking it was discontinued almost a whole year after its initial release. It failed miserably and was deemed one of the worst consoles of all time. Only 14 games were ever released, and there were several planned titles that were cancelled due to the system's failure. One of those games being Mr. Pants. Well, to that I say, poor Mr. Pants. He didn't get his time to shine on a failing console. I mean, who knows, he might have helped sales go up. I mean, the console couldn't have been that bad. I mean, what was the most popular game on the Gizmondo? Sticky Balls? There's a game called Sticky Balls? Okay, if there's a reason for the console's failure, it's gotta be the fact that there's a game with such a disgusting-ass sounding title as Sticky Balls. But apparently it's the best game on the system, so I guess we could take a look at it?
You got blue walls, green walls, yellow and all. I'm gonna get them sticky balls. Spring balls, strip balls, pick 'em up too. I'm gonna get them balls for you.
I give up. Until next time, this is Beneficial Gamer, signing off. God, what the f*** was that?